First thing I would do if I were mayor or the chair of the County Board of Commissioners in Grand Traverse County, I would first of all get together and see this as a regional problem, get the other mayors and county chairs together, and pool our resources together and appoint a jobs ambassador or ambassadors. And I would have people, we have so many retirees who live up here, who come from business, who come from all over the country really, some very smart, educated, successful people who were successful in their work years. I bet if we asked one or two of them to be our jobs ambassador, to go out across the country, even across the world, and sell Traverse City as a place to put your business. You need active involvement. You just can't say, we're going to have a good jobs climate or whatever, and then all you do is you reduce taxes so business people don't have to pay their taxes. I mean, Muskegon came up with a great idea here a couple weeks ago. I thought it was a great idea. I believe the county owns something like 260 acres of unused property, vacant property. And they said, for any business that'll come here to Muskegon and create a minimum of 25 jobs, we will give you 5 acres of land for free. Now that goes back 100, 150 years ago to the homesteading, the concept of we'll build the country in this way. We have this land, and this is something that we can be helpful. We own this, it sits there. You coming in here and providing jobs builds the tax base. We actually are going to make money as a result of this land that just sits there now not making any money. I thought, well, that's a creative idea, and especially in places like Flint where they're tearing down 10, 20, 30% of the homes in Flint, and creating this land bank. What could be done in terms of offering this land to businesses who would come there and put their business here. Manufacturing is not going to make it, especially up here. Those days are gone, especially when we hit $5 a gallon for fuel. People aren't going to build things here and transport them elsewhere because you can't. The cost of it will be, as I've said before, once you pull out of Traverse City, you can't make a right or a left turn for almost 300 miles. If you want to take something across the country, you have to go down to the Ohio-Indiana border, or you have to go up and over to the UP and down. So it's just that way of thinking isn't going to work. But what are the jobs of the 21st century that we could encourage people? And listen, this place, this place used to do these things. There was the Dennises that had the idea of the pies and built the pie company and employed people. Parsons' dad or grandfather, whatever, who built the things during World War II. I mean, there is a history here of inventors and people with great ideas that then end up employing a lot of people. Those same people have to be here now. They have to be in this next year. I'm almost certain they are. But how are they being nurtured? Where can they walk into any bank here in Traverse City and get a loan for their small business? How easy is it to get a loan these days? I mean, if you've listened to anybody, it isn't easy at all.
Right.
The banks don't want to part with their money, and these banks, they've got these bailouts from us. They've sat on this money. They don't release it to people, and so the economy is in this, and why are they holding on to it? They know why they're holding on to it, because the other shoe hasn't dropped. The next crash hasn't happened. The next crash will happen. It'll probably happen on Obama's watch. I mean, there's a number of house of cards that are sitting there waiting to collapse. The credit card debt is huge right now. There's no way that can be sustained. The commercial real estate bubble, which didn't really burst in the way that the housing bubble, personal housing bubble burst. That's going to go. I mean, there's a number of things that are going to happen. Plus, I get, because of this last movie I made, I get emails and letters from people on Wall Street, whistleblower types, sending me information all the time, saying essentially, Mike, nothing has changed. We're still doing credit default swaps. We're still doing these crazy derivatives. It's still a casino. The public doesn't know this. They saw they got away with it. They got bailed out. They didn't suffer. They got record bonuses as a result of it. They're back to doing all the same stuff again and waiting for the next collapse that's going to happen. And probably what's going to happen right away with them is that all this whole mortgage thing because there simply isn't. They're not going to be, all the stuff that started happening with Bank of America a couple of months ago. I'm sorry to sound like such doom and gloom, but I think I'm just trying to think in a very micro way here, in terms of Traverse City, of what can we do to at least not just protect ourselves here, but build something so that we can sustain the onslaught. That we took something that had sat there for over 2 decades, where the business community, where trickle-down economics somehow didn't let that piece of property just sit there, and nobody could figure out what to do with it. And then all of a sudden, literally within 6 weeks of us turning the key in the door, going in there and demoing the entire place, and rebuilding it, and opening it, and having the governor cut the ribbon 6 weeks later, it was such a shock, I think, to people like, holy cow, that something could get done, we could actually do something in that short of a period of time? And the answer is yes. And, we have lost our mojo. I've said this to you guys before. When you think about World War II, when that started, and how our parents and grandparents went in the factories, and they converted these factories very quickly, and they were rolling B-24s off the assembly line in Ypsilanti there, building one plane every 62 minutes. 62 minutes they built a B-24. That's what they could do back then. But see, we can still do that, but we're not in that mindset. We're in this mindset that we have to committee everything, we have to hire focus groups, we have to spend money on consultants. We can't even get a friggin' sewer plant right. This is just how pathetic we've become, that we can't even figure out how to move our sewage into a proper facility. Something that was figured out actually 100 years ago. We have to hire consultants, and we have to committee it, and we have to lose all this money as a result of it, trying to deal with it. Somebody's got to stand up here and say, those days are over, and the new way is the State Theater way. Boarded up movie theater, movie palace, 6 weeks. All right, what's next? And so my agitation that you are witnessing is that I'm in that place of what's next. Come on, let's quit living on the laurels of that. That's over 3 years ago. That's 3 years have passed. What else are we doing here? Where's that free wireless that everybody said we're going to have? What are we doing here? Where's the jobs ambassador? What are we doing about affordable housing? There's a guy that has an idea for affordable housing over there by the library, and then how did this all get mucked up? It's like, what's going on here?